The boys are back in town. What that means is we're back to our routine. What that means is we gotta get our ass back in the gym. I don't know about you guys. I need some help when I'm going to the gym. A little boost, you know? Thank God. Thank God fruit punch free. I need that. It doesn't give you like the jitters and makes you feel like you're gonna have a heart attack. You're gonna be all right. Take a scoop of this and get your ass to the gym. Man, we got an ad, bro.
Holy
Come on, bro. What's that, man?
Whew. Boys, listen, I got a little saucy last night. We're back home and, you know, hey bro, come out. Hey bro, I'm over here, I'm over there. I couldn't say no, all right? As you can see, I'm just trying to fucking recover here. And there's nothing better to recover with than a little bit of liver reset, all right? You literally pop one of these after you go out. It takes a little bit of time to kick in, but you gotta fix the insides. Because when you're fucking saucing tequila like a madman, you gotta make sure the liver gets that fucking reset going, all right? 15% off if you use our code MBH15, supplements.co, 15% off anything you wanna buy. Let's get into this episode.
They know that I go flip mode when I bust the rhymes. Man's on a different thing, man, I told them 100 times. I did a bunch of crimes, and none of them were done for the vine. So you can take that bullshit and stick that where the sun don't shine. The summer's up, it's about to get real cold. Late nights in the studio with the bros.
What up, guys? We're in downtown Miami. We're about to record a top class, top talent singer-songwriter. He's done all kinds of shit in the last 20 years. He's made the best songs. You've heard all the songs he's made. I'm pumped. It's gonna be fucking sick.
Listen. If you know my guy Jay Biebs,
Yes.
you need to know who this guy is. I'm just gonna say it, all right? I wanna do a massive podcast with Poo Bear, absolute songwriting legend. Now artist has his own tracks, just like, it's out of this world. It's gonna be a fucking banger pod. Let's get to it. Welcome back to the MBH podcast, Money Buys Happiness, presented by Full Send. Ernesto, get us into this one, bro.
All right, first of all, sub. Get the sub going.
Yes.
You know, you got to sub. We've been growing. Appreciate all you watching, supporting, commenting, following us on IG, DMing us. Love the support. But without further ado,
Woo, heater today.
we got a fucking legend sitting in front of us right now. We're in a beautiful, beautiful condo in Miami right now. Poo Bear. Welcome.
Birthday.
Yo, what's up? Happy birthday, bro.
Birthday. Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming
Yo,
on,
for
bro.
anyone
Appreciate
who doesn't know, this guy's made the music that you listen to, and you don't even know it. And we're about to tell you what he's made. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it starts from Peaches and Cream.
Before that.
Even before that, but I'm gonna give them what they think, what they know. You know what I mean? What they know.
Absolutely.
And then moving into names like Chris Brown, J Balvin, Usher, bro. And then obviously leading up to Justin Bieber. There's so many in between, you know. And this is the man we're sitting with right now. So thank you for your time, bro.
Thank you.
We got to chop it up with you a bit before episode, and your energy is fucking sick,
Yes.
bro.
Thank you.
Great conversation already. You're super genuine, super kind. So thank you, bro.
Yes, sir.
What's with the happy birthday thing?
It really started off just because I was really shy and I didn't know how to be myself immediately. Most people, when they introduce you to themselves, they're introducing you to their representative or who they want you to perceive them as. So I created Happy Birthday just because it allowed me to be myself. And it was like an icebreaker for me. So, and then you knew immediately if you say, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. And I say, happy birthday, I'm Poo Bear. You know, I'm a little weird. I'm a little off immediately.
I was telling him when I first texted you.
Yeah.
just
And
he did it to me
myself,
too.
And like, happy birthday. And I'm like, dude, you just said happy birthday to me.
Yeah.
But
It's
it
real. It's
hit
a
different.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's memorable as well because you're like,
It's
yo, this guy's saying
memorable.
happy birthday.
And see, when I was doing it, I wasn't thinking about any of the cool things that it turned into, which
Yeah.
is if you study, which I've never studied any of this, but if you study branding and, building brands, you're supposed to connect a punchline.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was doing that.
Yeah.
It was just to make me feel better when I introduced myself.
Yeah.
I could be myself from the beginning. So I'm going to be weird and then if you're weird, hopefully you feel comfortable enough to be yourself around me. Immediately.
I'll
Not
tell you.
after you get, you know what I mean?
You
But if I
said
say
that-
happy birthday immediately, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, he's crazy. I'm crazy too.
You sent that text,
Yeah.
and like, listen, like a man of your stature, the shit you've done, like usually, coming from my angle, you try and be a little more chill, relaxed. You don't really know. As soon as you said that, I was comfortable right away.
Oh,
Over a
immediately.
text
Yeah.
message.
It's the most amazing icebreaker.
Yeah.
My goal is to have the entire world saying happy birthday to everybody. Because it's just one of those things. It's like, why do we have to wait to our birthday to feel special?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I respect that.
When we sleep, we're literally dancing with death.
Yeah.
So like when we wake up, it's a celebration. Yeah. You know, it's so many different birthdays. There's so many different meanings of it. And like for me, it's a noun, it's a pronoun, it's an adjective, it's an adverb. It's like all these different things. And I just feel like it's become my tag. I'm sure I'm the only human being with a happy birthday tattoo.
Yeah, I'm about to get that too, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm about to get one too.
I really want to start a birthday wave because it's just all about positive frequencies.
Yes.
Because everything in life is yin and yang, negative and positive, right? It's as simple as that. So if I say happy birthday, you you got to be a real evil person not to feel good.
Yeah,
True,
positive energy from that. So it just turned into my thing. And then it turned into like, it should be your birthday every day. It's a lifestyle. And then it's like people expect, and then it turned into like a real, like if Poo Bear, like happy birthday, Poo Bear. And they would connect that phrase to me. So now anytime anybody says happy birthday anywhere, you think of me.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I swear,
and
next time
I don't even
someone
do that on
says
purpose.
it, someone's gonna say it to me. I'm gonna think of you right
You're gonna
away.
think of
Like,
me.
literally.
And you're gonna be like, Pooh Bear.
That's
You know what I'm
marketing,
saying?
though. That's marketing, but you're saying that wasn't even
I didn't
your
do it on
intention.
purpose. No, I was just really shy.
Yeah.
And then it turned into this thing that I'm known for. Now, if I don't say it, somebody like, yo, he didn't tell me happy birthday. So
he
now,
doesn't like me no more.
Exactly. So now I have to I do it no matter what. I program myself, I make an effort not to say it, to just like, I used to say to just everybody
All the time.
here. And then when I moved in here, it was like, I am crazy, but now I'm in a place where I don't want you to think that I'm crazy. Like, as my neighbor, I don't want you to yo, I have a crazy neighbor.
Who's that guy saying happy birthday?
Exactly. Like, yo, he just wished me happy birthday. Then you learn that in like other countries, like in Germany, it's an omen. It's a bad omen to wish somebody a birthday, and it's not their actual birthday.
Shit, okay.
Yeah, I had to learn all these things the hard way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like wishing the German happy birthday.
Oh,
you
shit.
know,
They're
and
like,
they're
what the fuck did you just say, bro?
you just cursed me, and I'm like, no, it's every day your birthday, big birthday. Like it's an omen. I'm like, all right, I learned now I can't say that to Germans.
That's gotta be like the coolest line,
Yeah.
tagline someone has. Just
Oh,
like
yo, try it.
that's crazy.
So I want you to do
gonna
like
try.
from now on, anytime you see a girl just be like happy birthday, and watch what happens. Yeah.
It's at least gonna
It's
start the
just- well, it's
convo.
just-
Yeah,
It opens up.
Yeah.
It's the illest ground icebreaker of all time, because it's like, oh, it's not my birthday, but you're gonna get a smile.
Yeah.
You're gonna get the energy that comes along with somebody wishing somebody a happy birthday.
Damn.
Yeah, it's
That's smart as
psychology,
fuck,
man.
Right?
bro. That's
Yeah, it made me feel like I'm smart a little bit, but I ain't doing it on purpose. It was not intentional.
I want to ask you.
ahead.
I want to ask you. I mean, we're speaking about the happy birthday thing.
Mm-hmm.
Pooh Bear, the name.
Yeah.
Where did it come from?
You see how I do that, right? I drink a Happy Dad,
Yeah.
and I drink H Factor.
Yeah.
That way, you know what I mean? I'm hydrated.
Balance.
Back
I'm
to
never
back.
being,
Yeah.
I'm never dehydrated from the alcohol. Pooh Bear, my mom used to call me Boomer, Ralphie, and Pooh Bear.
Okay.
Don't know why.
Okay.
I'm like, Mom, why didn't you just name me Boomer or Ralphie? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so weird. I'm like, is that what you really wanted your kid's name to be? Like, you're just now putting that on me after the fact? And my friends would make fun of me. They would make fun of me. And when I got to like age 13 and got to high school, that's when girls were like, oh, that's cute. So then I was like, oh shit, am I allowed to cuss on the podcast?
Of course,
Okay. Yeah, I was like, oh shit, that's cute. I like it. You know what I'm saying? Because for a while, it was like a little like my friends would pick on me. And when the girls was like, oh, it's so cute. I was like, okay, I got a cute name, man, all right. And then I really embraced it. And then, I just stuck with it. And, I really wasn't a fat kid. I started getting progressively fat when I turned like 16. I started making a little bit, when I co-wrote my first hit record, I started making a little money. And then the more money I made, the bigger, I got obese, Okay. But I was comfortable with the name because it just fit I was Pooh Bearable, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, it fits. You this big guy with a ponytail that's like saying happy birthday, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're a Pooh Bear. So it fit me. And then at the same time, I know in the back of my mind, like I'm to have to evolve because I want to live longer. I want to be here as long as possible, longer than what anybody could expect. And I had to evolve my body, but I was Pooh Bear, and it made a lot of sense being obese, you know, and it like went along with my whole persona.
Damn.
Yeah.
For anyone listening right now, like all I see is plaques. Like I'm looking around and I just see plaques
Everywhere,
and records and awards and just all this shit. Bro, like when did you first fall in love with music? Like was it in your fam? Like
No.
like anything like that? Like what age and when did you know you loved music?
Okay, the first time I knew I loved music, I found a cassette tape outside of my apartment building in New Haven, in Hamden, Connecticut, on Auger Street. And I remember my dad had a Walkman, and I was not allowed to listen to any secular music at all.
Wow.
But I found a single from Stevie Wonder on the ground. I just called to say I love you.
Tune.
Wow.
Right?
What
And,
a
and
tune.
that was on the A side. And the B side was Cinder My Love with a Dozen Roses.
Yeah.
And so I snuck and listened to it.
Okay.
Like late at night, like 3 o'clock in the morning. Like I'm listening to I Just Called to Say I Love. Like I'm like sneaking listening to it like I'm listening to Too Short. The most like perverted song ever. And Steve was like, I just called. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to hell to say I love you. I was petrified. And that right there at that point, I knew like I don't know what I want to do in the music, but I wanna make people feel the way this music makes me feel. And I think that was when I decided that I wanted to be a part of music. And I just didn't know in what capacity. Okay. You know? And I was 8 years old when I found that tape. And I only listened to it, once. It wasn't like I didn't make a program out of it. It was, I listened to it once and then I was like, okay, I want to learn how to play the guitar. I want to learn how to play piano. I just had a desire, and I was like, tried guitar, it was like, it's too hard, and then piano was like, cool. But then ultimately, I was like writing poems, and I didn't even know I was really writing poems. I would just go in the bathroom and just write out like just phrases and things that I thought that I could see, like visual phrases. Okay. And then, I went through some hard times. We were always poor, but you don't really know you're poor until you go to school, you see your neighbors, and you get a chance to compare, your life. But we were already poor, and my dad and mom, they did a great job at not making it obvious. Like my mom never signed up for food stamps, or she never wanted to go in the system for welfare or anything, and she had a lot of pride. And we needed it, but we would still have the products. We would still get the cheese or the powdered milk from the church. And then when I turned 8, at the same time of me like sneaking and listening to Stevie Wonder, my parents, they always fought, like physically. My dad used to, fight my mom, which was like the most hypocritical. He was a preacher, you know what I mean? So I couldn't listen to Stevie Wonder, but you get to, you get to beat up on mom. Like, come on, thought about that right now. But ultimately, my dad, they got in a fight, and I tried to hurt my dad, and then I end up trying to hurt myself to take the attention away from my mom, and then I'm going, the hospital, and but after that, my dad, it backfired. My dad divorced my mom, and then he left and disappeared, and there was no cell phones in 1988, 89. So when somebody leaves, like when a dad leaves back then, it was like
for real,
8 years, yeah. So, but he left 2 weeks after he left. Tornado, the only tornado in Connecticut history came. Yeah, it was like a real, like the Wizard of Oz, like Connecticut. We would get hurricanes. We never had a tornado. Yeah. Only tornado skips over the Brooklyn Bridge, hits New Haven, Hamden, and we lived in an apartment. Thank God with a basement, so we were able to go in a basement. But when we came up, we were outside, and so then we were homeless for about a year. We kind of slept everywhere and figuring it out with my mom.
That's you and your mom. You have siblings.
Me and my
as
mom
well?
and my brother.
Okay.
But my brother was like, my brother always lived a faster life than I did.
Okay.
And I was like, wanted quick money, you know. So he was there, but he was still like out, you know what I mean, being my brother. And then after being homeless for over a year, the church we were going, the new church we were going to, they took up an offering, and they gave my mom the offering. They gave her $4,000, and with that money, we were able to move to Atlanta and start over. And we still struggled, but you know, Atlanta was like the new Mecca of the South. It was the new New York of the South. So it was like, ABC, Another Bad Creation, Crisscross. You had all these kids groups, and I was like inspired as a 10-year-old, you know. I was about to be 10, and I was like, whoa, these kids are 8, 9, and they're making money, making music. So I started putting together kids groups in my neighborhood and just writing the songs, doing the choreography with my brother, making the music, engineering, cutting the vocals, the whole 9. And then the parents, like, I guess one of the parents saw us rehearsing and they saw dollar signs, and they took us to Keep Sweat's manager.
Okay.
Because I was like, what made them just do that? And they're like, it's like cha-ching. They saw it. Then Keith Sweat's manager, road manager actually, Lonnie and Louise Ferguson, they took us in and they just started to make us sing like these old school songs. It was horrible, but like Temptations and like old school records. And then my group, one of the group members, he got in trouble and ended up doing some time in juvenile. And then Red ended up being somehow, Red from Another Bad Creation ended up managing me in the group and created a group for us, another group called TWC. Okay. Together We Chill.
How old were you
The
at
worst
this point?
group name of all time.
Together We Chill.
TWC. Together We Chill. And I was excited about it because I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Y'all are ABC, Another Bad Creation, and we're TWC, Together We Chill. Corniest name ever. And then, but from there, this was like the first time I got ripped off from a writing standpoint. I wrote a song with my cousin, and it was dissing Crisscross because Crisscross came out and they were dissing ABC.
Okay.
So their first song, Jump Jump, that was basically dissing ABC. Like sometimes they're rhyme, but they can't rhyme like this. Like, so I was taking it personally because I'm like, Red's my manager.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm writing a rap to diss you. Like I'm gonna write a rap diss record. Because I rap before I sang, by the way.
Okay.
I was in a group called Young Harmony. Well, Young Harmony came right after TWC. But I was a rapper, you know, and I would hear melodies and stuff, but I really couldn't really sing. I could just hear, and I could harmonize and all that. But so I wrote a rap, and me and my cousin wrote the rap, and I rapped it for Red. He was like, rap it again. I did it again. And then every, you know, he was like, hey, can you do that rap again, right? Then he vanished. ABC, they disappeared for like 9 months. Where I'm no contact, he was supposed to be my manager. Disappeared off the face of the earth. Yeah. One day I'm in the 7th grade. My friend Kevin Ellis, he's like, hey man, remember that rap you rapped to me that was dissing Crisscross? He was like, it's out. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, it's out. It's on this Bib 10, One for All, one for Bib 10. Michael Biebers put out a record, a compilation album, and it was like All for One, One for All. Okay. And it was with like ABC, Boys to Men, everybody that was signed to Bib 10 Records. Okay. And the ABC song was the rap that me and my cousin wrote. Yeah, he stole it.
So Red took it.
Red took it.
That's why you didn't hear from him.
Never heard from him ever again, to this day.
Oh.
To this day.
To this day.
Yeah. Damn.
Yo, bro, come on, bro. You gotta show yourself, bro.
Listen, and that was in 1992.
Jeez.
I was 12 years old, first time I got ripped off. And I heard it, and it was weird. I had mixed emotions because I was excited, but I was hurt.
Yeah, the track was out,
but I was hurt.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, and then when you look, I'm like, well, maybe he give me my credit. I got publishing or something. Nothing. He didn't even get credit. Their manager took the credit. Kevin Wells took the credit for that song. Like he was so young that he didn't even know how to steal the rap from me. Properly still publishing.
Yeah. So this was like the first time you're not getting recognition.
This was the first time I didn't even get, not but forget recognition.
Yeah.
I didn't exist. Like I didn't have credit. I didn't get publishing. They just stole the rap.
12 years old.
I was 12, 1992. Yep. And from that, I ended up meeting this kid named Kelvin, who was in my middle school. We started doing talent shows together, and we created a group called Young Harmony.
Okay.
And then our first single came out. We signed our first record deal when I was 12. And I was signed to a label called Jungle Juice Records. And Young Harmony's first single was called She's Turning Me On.
12?
Perverted, 12 years old. It makes sense that my next hit record would be We Could Do It Anywhere. And then Peaches and Cream. Like there's a pattern going on.
Yeah.
This guy's perverted.
But it's working though.
He's a young perv.
Yeah. Damn.
So at that age, you're already like tapping into like the sexual side of music. Like,
Yeah, I
okay,
lived
let's
in
go.
Atlanta. Atlanta was fast, but we had something in Atlanta called Freaknik that
Okay.
was very unexplainable as an adult. Because they would let us out of school to participate in Freaknik.
Yeah.
Okay.
Freaknik, everybody would just come around from like all the colleges, all of the black colleges, like Howard, all these schools would come down to Atlanta.
Okay.
And they would just lose their minds. Like they would park, they would go on the highways, turn their music, and then the girls would get out and start stripping on the highway.
Come on.
Shake it, and then they would be like 8, 9 rapes a day. But I'm like, what do you all
think's gonna
expect?
happen?
Like,
Yeah, that's
okay, you got Hennessy and naked girls on the highway.
On the highway.
And you don't complain now that you get raped?
Yeah, that's
like,
crazy.
that's the perfect formula. There's no, there's no justifying it. But
Yeah.
it
And
was
what year,
really
too?
insane. And as a kid, they would let us out of school early. Like, we know you guys, are participating in Freaknik.
To go to that.
To go be super perverted.
Yeah.
Like teachers were hiding. Like the teachers were going. Like everybody was going.
Oh, shit,
They were
okay.
letting everybody out of school early for Freaknik.
Yeah,
And it
was
happened for years and years.
Wow.
Until it was like, I guess, one rape too many.
Yeah.
And then they ended it. But they
So that
tried
was
to
a
bring it back
culture.
like a year ago or something. But it was a culture. So
Yeah.
like growing up like fast.
Yeah.
Seeing all
We
that
were
and shit.
surrounded by Freaknik. Like, what even is that? Nobody else even knows what this is. When I say it,
I'm shocked.
it was
right
a
now.
holiday, but it was like a week.
Yeah.
And it was just like, you just go and you just be perverted.
They still do it?
No, they just tried
Okay.
to do it again last summer.
And they got, but I guess COVID and shit.
The original creators of it filed a lawsuit because somebody tried to take the name and do like their new version of it, and they ended up going to court. Yeah.
So that's where that music was coming from what you were seeing.
It was
experiencing.
definitely like experience, like seeing it, and like Atlanta's strip club city. You know what I mean?
facts.
So it was and I've always kind of been in tune. So when I looked at going to 112 with Anywhere, and I was 16 working with Deron Jones, it was, this is super edgy. And then 112 was like considered the gentleman of Bad Boy, because he had Biggie, Craig Mack, and they were all talking reckless. And here comes Cupid, like, I'm like the most gentleman, I'm opening your door, right? And then so when Anywhere got on the table, Puff, everybody was like, yo, y'all the gentlemen, like, you don't think this is too edgy? And in my mind, I'm like, these girls are gonna go crazy.
When do things actually start popping off?
Like, when you say popping off, do you mean
This guy's
like,
been popping.
No,
bro.
no,
This
no,
guy's
That's
been
the thing.
popping.
Like I had my first success at a young age, but
Yeah.
then when it turned into, I think after Peaches and Cream.
Okay.
So when I turned 19, 20, I went on the road with Puff Daddy and 112 Bad Boy Family Tour in Europe, and we ended up doing, a lot of records on the road, and then ended up going to New York and doing Peaches and Cream and Dance With Me and all these records. And that's when I think Peaches and Cream was the first record where, the first record I did, I took a hit, because I was like, when you come into the industry, most people, you get hit. Like, I got hit a couple times, because my story with the rap getting stolen.
Yeah.
But this was like, all right, you really wrote this amount of the song, but because you're new, we're going to give you this nothing.
Like less, like nothing.
So Peaches and Cream was the first time where they had to give me the percentage that I worked for, and like it was, I guess it was such a big record. It ended up being their biggest record to date, but it opened up a lot of doors, and then a lot of people just started to know who I was based on Peaches and Cream, but not like people out of the music business, like just producers and people who would ask like, yo, who did that? And then my name started bubbling just from Peaches and Cream. And then I met producers in Miami. I met Dre and Vidal. I was working with Carl Thomas, 8-Ball MJG, Mary J. Blige, and New Edition. I just signed the Bad Boy at that time. This was in 2002. And I ended up meeting Dre and Vidal, and from there, they were like, "Hey, come to Philly," and they told me they're living legends. They created Music Soul Child's first album, Jill Scott, like they created neo soul, the genre. So I was excited to work with them in Philly, and then that brought, I ended up working with Ryan Toby from City High, and then we ended up doing records. We ended up working with Glenn Lewis, and then Jill Scott I ended up working with, and then Usher came from that, and then from there, like that's when I noticed that I was bringing more to the table than just songwriting. Okay. And that's where when I told you earlier in our brief conversation that nobody's ever charged a songwriter's fee. And I was the first songwriter to demand, and I didn't even really do it on purpose, more so than somebody hired me to, they hired me to work, no money, just like, we want you to write with this group called As Yet. When the A&R, after I wrote the record, he's like, I love this. He's like, what's your fee? And I was like,
also then the light bulb.
I was like, yeah. And I was like, I don't know. He was like, send me an invoice for your fee. I was like, what's an invoice? He was like, you never did an invoice? He was like, all good. I'll make an invoice for you. And it's going to be for $3,500. You okay with $3,500? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, so you're gonna pay me for that? He was like, yeah, that's your fee. And then at the same time, I noticed that when I would write songs and I would submit them, the labels, like, they would love the song when I sang it. But then when they would have an artist cut it, it never came out the same.
It sounded the same.
Because I needed to be there to vocal produce, to bring out the best.
So your value starts coming
in. And that's where I started charging. I was like, you don't want to pay writers. And the reason, just to put it out here, they don't want to pay writers. Labels don't want to pay writers because when you have a song, a producer will charge a fee. And when they charge that fee, they're selling the master, the music, the master. And in selling that master, they don't make any money off of record sales until the money is recouped that the label spent on the album.
The cost and shit. That's crazy.
So it makes sense. So we're gonna give you $30,000, $40,000 to buy this master, and then if the album sells 1 million record, whatever, hopefully we'll recoup and you'll actually make some royalties on the back end.
Yeah.
So as a songwriter, we get paid off of record one sold. So it doesn't matter whether you recoup your album or not. You got to pay us. You sell one album, we want our percentage off of that as a writer. So labels were like, in their defense, they're like, well, you get paid off of record one sold, whether we recoup our money or not. I'm like, that's true. And then I was like, all right, so here's what we do. You like a song I do, I'll send it to you. You could cut it on your artist. Good luck. And then every time they would be like, yo, it doesn't sound the same. We love your version. I was like, well, can you justify paying me a producer fee, a vocal producer fee? And they were like, I never heard that before. Let me get back to you. And then they ran it through the chain, and they were like, yeah, we could actually justify that. Like, we can actually, so I started charging not a writer's fee then, I started charging a vocal producer fee.
So you were pioneering that.
I pioneered it.
Damn.
And then from that on, it was just like, the more records I sold, the more I can demand, the more cool, the more popular, and the more, my song, my frequencies program the universe. People don't understand what that's doing, but it's turning, like, I wasn't influenced by any music as a kid, so my sound becoming a new frequency program to the universe allows me to create, and when people hear it, it resonates with them, and it makes them feel like my other hit frequencies that they've been programmed to. Yeah. And it's a whole mental. Yes.
Well, it's funny you say that, because when you start to look at all the songs, under your repertoire, like, it's like, then you're like, yo, this makes sense. Yeah. Because there's the sound.
It's a sound.
Yeah.
Where's that sound come from? Like, where
do you from God? Because I created. I wasn't influenced by anybody. So you can't say, oh, that sounds like Stevie Wonder. Oh, that sounds like.
Yeah. It's so true, bro.
Because we talk about
compare. Yeah. Where are you now? What do you compare that song to?
No, you can't.
I just said that to him. And it changed the direction of music.
Yeah.
We're driving here saying literally what you just said. He said on the way here.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like, you can't compare. You can't be like, well, that sounds like.
To me, it actually changed the way people were creating house music after that. Like, people started doing different shit.
It literally single-handedly.
So were you trying to do those kind of different and like very unique
I
style.
wasn't trying.
You
I
were-
was just
okay,
writing.
well, okay.
I was just writing,
That's facts.
and I
Okay,
didn't have
that's
any,
facts.
and I didn't have anything to pull from.
Yeah.
So I'm pulling from. I'm just channeling.
Yeah.
So whatever comes to me
Yeah.
is like. So that's what influenced me, and then it'll be like, yo.
But that's what caught your people's attention too at the time. You're doing shit.
In the beginning,
Yeah.
it was like an uphill battle because there was nothing. If
Like
I was
you.
singing a song, they'd be like, I like this. It's weird. I never heard anything like it.
But that was a bad thing
It's
to
like
them.
Basquiat in the beginning. It's
Yeah.
like, what do you compare a Basquiat painting to?
Yeah,
Yeah.
facts.
There's no little kid doodles that you can compare Basquiat. I'm like, oh, they remind me of little JJ's doodles back in the, when he was 3 years old.
Yeah.
But
Was there anyone at that time that tried to like fuck with your process or fuck with your creativity at all and be like, yo, like it's good, but like try this
Or
more?
were the
absolutely,
labels,
Yeah.
were the labels
absolutely. And I'm like, and I'm humble. So, you know, and I don't try to be humble. This is just who I am. It's my character. So I will listen. And I value people's opinion. It just took me years and years to really have my system and understand, like, I'm not gonna value your opinion if you what's the last hit record you've done? Why does your opinion matter to me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to have something to say because you get paid a salary. And you're
Yeah.
an A&R and you're a VP, you're a president. You're supposed to say something, right? But how do you validate it? Where are the analytics? Where is the trial and error of what you've created throughout the years? So you can say, oh, that didn't work, that worked. And you collect the data. Oh, that didn't work because of X, Y, and Z.
Show us
Let
the
me try
stats,
this.
bro.
Show us the stats. Give me a reason to
Yeah.
value your opinion. I value you. I value Saki, that dog. I value your opinion way more than anybody in the industry. You know why? Because when you listen to a song, guess what you do? You either like it or you don't.
Yeah.
You don't be like, man, if you would have just changed that line in the pre-chorus, or if you would have just went up there to a fifth on the post hook, I would stream it.
Yeah.
Nah.
wanna-
You turn it up, or you be like, what's that? That's bullshit. Like, you don't even
Yeah.
give it energy.
No, your
It's
tracks
actually-
I'm just bumping.
you
though.
just turn
It's
it.
a repeat thing. It's a repeat
like,
thing.
I
straight up.
value a regular person's opinion
yeah.
over, unless you've had a current track record of success. I mean, in the last 2 years,
Yeah.
where your frequencies are still current programmed frequencies.
Yeah.
I don't really want to listen. I don't really care what you have to say because you don't have anything to support your fact. Like, you don't have anything. It's just your opinion.
But it's hard to move like that. It's hard to think like that when you are a humble person because you want to give everyone that chance.
And I still do.
Yeah.
But I humbly just say, hey, what's your last hit? And they'd be like, I've never done a hit. I'm like, oh, cool. So where are you? We just looking at basing this off of numbers?
Yeah.
Cool. I understand we basing it off numbers, but you know, where's the actual? How'd you get to those numbers? Where's the music that got you those numbers, those results?
Facts.
And they can't ever. So it's just like, I let most A&Rs. I'm like, and I come in and I understand. When I worked on journals, you know, I was the executive producer.
Yeah.
But I'm humble, and I was like, you know what? I understand I was a threat to Scooter. I understand I was a threat because here comes this big black guy come out of nowhere and that's best friends with Justin Bieber now, and it's like, you know what I mean? It's,
Yeah.
I understand,
Yeah.
I get it, you know. But and at the same time, it's like, you know, understanding, you know, the power of melody and the power of like everything, and not, you know, just not throwing around saying like, well, I feel like this or I feel like that. It's like, no, you gotta really validate. You really gotta have some real analytics. And I need to know that you've been a part of successful records within the last 2 years. Then I'll listen to you.
Yeah.
You know, and I do care. I care about what people think. I just care more about what people think, like, from the average person.
Yeah.
Who's not gonna dissect.
That's your fan too. At the end of the day.
They're not dissecting the music.
Yeah, they're just listening for what
It's
it
an
is.
ear test. It's just like, I like it or I don't.
Talking about opinions too, like you, like working with Puff that early on, working with Usher, like before we even get into Bieber, like how was that? How were those experiences? And like, did you ever feel pressure?
I never worked with Puff.
Oh, you didn't?
Nah,
I thought you
but
said P Diddy, no? Or you did?
he's gotten publishing on stuff. I'm just being honest.
Okay, okay, proper. No, I didn't know. I thought you were involved with him at
I
Peaches
worked
and Cream.
with, well, no, but he didn't, you know.
You didn't show love? Is that
Well,
what?
it's
is
not
that-
love. He doubted. He didn't believe in Peaches and Cream.
Oh,
he straight up said, yo, Peaches and Cream? I was like, yeah. I was like, I think it's edgy. He was like, I don't know, Playboy. I don't know.
But at
He
that point,
doubted
what's-
it. It ended up being their biggest record to
Of
date.
course.
Wow.
But he doubted it. He said it outwardly like, I don't know. I don't know
But
about Peaches and Cream.
at
How
that
old
point,
are
when-
you?
yeah,
How
yeah.
old are you at that point?
I was 20.
And how does that
19, 20,
feel?
19, yeah.
Having Diddy saying that to you.
I
At
don't know.
20?
At that time, I was like, yo, maybe he's right.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I was, like anywhere was, me working with Duran and like all those records. I didn't really have a formula until 10 years ago, maybe, where it's like, oh, this works, that doesn't work. This is why I actually did what I was just talking about.
Yeah.
Like breaking it down, trial and error, like fail, success, fail. Why did that? Like, oh, and then actually having that chance to work with, Justin to really drive my formula in and my sound to where it became, a household sound.
So would you say linking up with Justin
Yeah.
really pushed you, like, let's say creatively?
Absolutely, because I never imagined working with Justin Bieber. It was like when I was growing up, I would write songs for Usher. I would write songs for these artists in hopes that they would hear them and be like, yes, I want to cut it. It never doesn't work like that, by the way. Maybe for some people. Okay. But Justin was never on my list of like, yo, I love that baby record. I want to write my version of one time, and man, like 2 times. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I never. So it was a big deal for me because Justin was never in my forecast.
So how did it happen? If you don't mind me asking.
I was living in Vegas, and I, had a friend named Kyle Massey, that I met through a rapper artist named Jazz Laser, and I met that rapper artist through a guy named Jamal. And I was working in Vegas heavy, and Little Twist, Kyle Massey invited Little Twist over to the house. I heard Little Twist talk. I was like, your voice is sick. Yeah. I was like, you sound like a little munchkin miniature version of Lil Wayne. You know what I'm saying? Like a little shrunken. I was like, that's dope. So I got inspired by his voice, and I wrote him a record called Contact. A rap record. I write raps. I wrote raps first. But I wrote him a rap record. He was like, you need to work with my little brother. And I'm like, who's your little brother? He was like, Justin Bieber. I was like, your little brother does not need me. I'm like, he's a superstar. He was like, bruh. And I got literally, honestly, Little Twist, man. He was just, in tune, man. He was psychic, no matter how much they tried to, they tried to create a bunch of, negative energy and, get him out of his life. They were kids, everybody's learning, they're young, But I can honestly say that he told me, he looked me in my eyes and said, you're gonna write my little brother's next album. And I was like, Twist, it'd be cool to just meet Justin. Like, if we work on one song, then that'd be a blessing. But he doesn't need me. He has his whole infrastructure. He's killing it. I just couldn't even visualize where I would fit in, because I'm like, I didn't even get it when I started hearing Baby on the radio. I was like, how is this? He's 12 and it's a heavy rotation. It was confusing to me. It went against everything that I was brought up in the music industry besides the Jackson 5. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Lil Stevie back in the day. I learned that he started off as a 12-year-old. But, so working with him, it was definitely not, Little Twist. He came over for his birthday, and he came over to the house in Vegas that I was staying at. He stayed for 24 hours, and we hung out, and literally, we might have spent 15 minutes listening to music out of 24 hours. Wow. We just hung out. And then the next day, he left, and he started listening to my songs, and he heard I had something on the radio that was popping called Alone, and it was blowing up on satellite radio. And he hit me. He was like, hey, can you flip that Craig David song, Fill Me In? Like, can you take the guitar chords and write a whole new song to him? I was like, absolutely. And I did it in 30 minutes. And I sent it to him. And he was like, yo, this is sick. He was like, I want to cut this. He was like, can you come to Boston? I was like, when? He was like, right now. I was like, sure. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
And I went to Boston, I swear. I went to Boston. We ended up cutting Recovery. Recovery was the record I did off Journals, And he ended up cutting that record. That was our first record that he cut. And then from there, he kept me on tour for 14 months.
Damn.
So I just moved to LA.
Okay.
It turned into like an apartment, like a storage for my luggage. Yeah. Like I lived in an apartment for like a week and 2 weeks tops in the whole year.
Just living out the suitcase.
It was just there for a luggage. Like, this is just an expensive storage unit for my luggage. I haven't even slept here. But it was a blessing. And then from there, that's when it started, like the whole, everything is negative and yin and yang. So it's like, as I'm being blessed and I'm working with Justin, then you have, the people who feel threatened by me and they're trying to attack me and, smear my name and put out interviews with Robin Perez Hilton.
Yeah.
Saying I was an international cocaine smuggler and put it out on my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And thank God, because I'm protected, my friend's friend owns TMZ.
Oh,
and so they called him, was like, yo, I think you know this guy named Poo Bear. He's like, yeah, he's a legend. And I was like, there's a story coming out of London from Perez on Radar saying he's an international cocaine smuggler. We know he writes hits. We want to send over a film team. And then I sent over, and then when I got the call in the morning, it was like 8 in the morning. It was like, yo, there's about to be a story come out on you, and it's going to be bad. And I just want to give you a heads up. And TMZ, they were going to release it and echo it, and then they realized that that we knew each other.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I sent them my discography to TMZ.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, and they sent over a camera guy that night. And I did, an interview, and they were
Like
like,
a counter interview to
that same night
Yeah.
that the interview came out.
Yeah,
And the interview got 8 million hits in like 20 hours.
cool.
Got 8 million hits. And they put me on the TV show, TMZ TV show, because it got so many hits.
Yeah.
They put me on, they put the story on the show. And then the guy, the lawyer, I forget his name, but the attorney, the guy who is his show basically, he's like, what do you think? You think Poo Bear is a bad guy, a drug dealer, or you feel like they're just giving him a bad time because he's black?
Yeah.
And then people start calling in. It's like, he's drug dealer. And then at the end of it, and there was a lot of people that was like, nah, he's no, he's black, so they're giving him a bad time. At the end of it, Harvey, I don't know his last name. Okay. Harvey was like, he's like, this is my conclusion. I want to end this like, Poo Bear, he sent over his discography. He's written hits for Usher, for Chris Brown. But when he has a discography, an extensive like list of hit songs. I don't think Poo Bear has ever had to sell drugs for a living. His value, like there's everybody, all these artists, they're accounted for. They know who he is, and I think that they're just giving him. I think everybody's giving him a hard time because he's black, and they can't accept that Justin Bieber, their hero, has befriended a dark-skinned, fat black guy.
Damn. Is Justin saying anything at that time about that
It
shit?
was because it was like
you didn't even want to.
And then I had to find out later on who actually was behind it.
Oh shit.
Oh, so you ended up
And
finding
you
out.
knew it, and then it made sense to you after.
Of course.
Yeah, that's how it goes usually.
Because no story that uses the name Justin Bieber in it can be released without approval.
Okay.
And I didn't realize that. So he, beyond approving it, was like, right through the story. He put Perez up to doing it. So, it's all good. But, at the end of the day, I'm smarter than that, and I'm protected.
It's like you say, yin and yang, right? The good with the bad.
It came with it, and it was like, for me, it was like, yes, it affected meetings. It affected people that wanted to meet with me, and they were like, well, is it true that you used to, like, be a drug dealer?
Yeah.
And then, so it affected my money. It affected my business for a while. Mm-hmm. And then, John Shahidi one day got smart and was like, I want you to do a skit with Rudy Mancuso and his mom called Gangster. And I did the skit. It was fun, and I did it, and I didn't realize that when John Shahidi, like, of course I want to act and I wanted to get into that, but he was like, really, Poo Bear? He's like, I really did that skit so that when people pull up anything in your name, anything that comes up, that will be a reference and it'll be a joke. It's genius.
Yeah, he's such a smart guy. Bro.
Yeah, it was
Shout out
brilliant.
John, man.
And he was
Shout
doing.
out
I was
John,
like,
bro.
shout out John Shahidi for looking out for me. I didn't even know what he was doing. I thought he was just trying to help my Vine acting career.
Yo, it's crazy because we spoke to John too about the music industry. Obviously, he ended up leaving the music industry. He had some stuff to say about the music industry itself,
I
of
can
course, right?
imagine, yeah.
I want to know what your opinion is on the music industry itself. How like maybe even the changes you've seen throughout the years. LA is like the mecca, right? Like that's like
LA turned
that's supposed
into
to be
the-
like the mecca of music and artists and everything, right?
It did. It was the mecca, and then the energy. Like everything, the energy moves. So, but for what I've seen, in the industry, it's not something that, as much as it is attractive as it looks, it's a beast. It's probably the worst industry that you could get into, and it's so attractive because of, even more with social media now. But just the lights and the cars and the diamonds and, forget the fame. Like that's a whole nother form of dopamine. It's you know, it's the things, the material things, and it just brings people into it for the wrong reason. You know,
Yeah.
the motive, all the motives they're just all wrong, and they're coming from, you know, bad places, and therefore an industry can't really, you know, it's gonna be full of these negative frequencies because everybody's just trying to just live this life and be stars and the managers, everybody want to be.
Yeah.
So when you get to see that and you're like, oh wow, and if you're like smart like John, then you know to literally pivot and go into a whole nother industry that, you know, that's not as cutthroat.
So you came to heaven. You came to Miami.
Came to Miami, and you know, really, this had a lot to do with it. You know, my water. Yeah, well, honestly, because my water company, we just went public like 6 months ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And my CPA, my business partner, you know, was like, hey man, you shouldn't be in California when this company goes public because they're gonna take 60% of everything. Yeah. Me coming from nothing, being homeless, I can't pretend like, oh yeah, I'll give California, you know, 20 million. And you know what it is? If I saw my tax dollars going to help my communities and get computers and new desks and, you know, new streets in the hood, then I'll stay and I'll give you the money because I'm gonna see that it's gonna help build up my community, which, you know, they created and they redlined and they created it, you know, so to hopefully for most white people to never make it. So if I see, which I know they would never take the money and help black people because they created the position. They created the whole red line. So it's like, all right, and because of that, I'm gonna come to Florida and, you know, I can still do my toy drives. I can still do my form of giving back to the community and not feel like I'm being extorted by a state that doesn't care about homeless, doesn't care. They have funding. California has funding.
We were just there. We saw it.
They got funding.
Yeah.
You know, they hit the tech billionaires with a tech tax.
Yeah.
They got 800 million sitting in a fund. There's more tents now.
Where's that money going, bro?
You know where it's going.
On, man.
You know where it's going.
There's obviously
And they don't want anybody
Yeah.
to eradicate the homeless problem because then all that money that's supposed to go there that they're pocketing, that's the only extra money that these people are making.
Wow.
It's true.
And these people in the homeless, they don't even know that they have $60,000 allocated to them a year.
Yeah.
Each tent has $60,000. They don't know that they're supposed to get $60,000 to be able to go to another level.
Wow.
Nobody will ever be like, oh, you know you're supposed to get this money.
Yeah.
That money goes, that's the only way the city workers, the state workers, that's the only extra money, real money that they pocket.
That they see. Yeah.
I mean, like,
So
they're so different politically, LA and Miami.
Yeah.
You
There's
get
some homeless people here, but it's another
Yeah.
level.
It's different.
Completely
down
still different.
LA, down you go to West
No, that's
Hollywood where I
crazy,
live,
man.
you know, Brentwood.
That's where we were at.
We were
That's
there,
where we
yeah.
were.
Can't, you know, you got $20 million houses, then kids can't play on the street because
We were just saying this.
the
bro. We were
homeless
just
people
saying
are harassing the kids, and then if you call the cops, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because it's a stay in place order.
How does that work?
Bruh, it's the system, bruh, it's so broken.
Do you ever get into politics or you get political with it? Like, you try to stay away from it?
You know what? I stay away from it, like on social media and certain things, just because it's just my opinion, and I just feel like sometimes you could get into positions that could be more hurtful than helpful.
Yeah.
And for an example for that, it's like, and when Donald Trump was president, Super Bowl, I remember they were trying to do a Super Bowl commercial, Monster energy drink, and they were trying to get so many people, right? But NBC had this new rules that Donald Trump sent them. It was like, yo, anybody that has ever said anything negative about me in the history of social media, they can't be on a commercial during the Super Bowl.
What?
Absolutely.
What?
Absolutely.
From the president, eh?
President himself. Because it's like, you're not going to get up there and take a knee and, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really for real in front of my,
Holy.
so crazy enough, I run into somebody and he's like, yo, do you want to be in a Super Bowl commercial? I was like, bruh, that's a joke. And they're like, nah, like, we're having an issue because NBC is turning down everybody that we submit to be in the Super Bowl commercial. They've said something negative in their social media about the president, or so they're not approving. So they can't approve him. So by default, I was in a Super Bowl commercial.
That's crazy.
Like 3 times.
That's amazing.
Like 3 different
huge
scenes.
airtime, man.
A minute. I'm in a commercial that's 1 minute.
Yeah.
I'm in a commercial 3 times.
That's unreal.
So when I was a kid, I never would have fathomed that I'm like, yo, one Super Bowl, I'm gonna be in a commercial. You know what I'm saying? But by default, and I say that to say, if I was vocal on my social media about certain things, and you know, I have different feelings about everything, and I feel like ultimately, I just feel like it's up to the individual to take it up in their own hands, like, and be like, I'm gonna do this with my life. You know what I mean? You can point fingers at presidents and all day long. So I never really felt like my fate was held in the hands of a president. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you already beat the odds at that point. Like, you're like,
the odds, but then just for regular people to look at it, it's like, yo, your fate doesn't lie. Your fate lies more in the hands of the people in your city.
Just
you know what I'm saying? That where you could actually come in and be like, yo, this is an issue. This is affecting me because I live here.
Yes.
Way more than you shouldn't be the president because my life will never be the same. Like, bro, that does not affect your life.
I think that's the TV though. That's the media
TV
that does that.
and they create this whole thing.
Like, yo,
whether they want it to be
that.
negative or positive, they got control of it.
Yeah.
The media, you know, the television, the vision that they tell, whatever they want to get across.
I want to ask you about your other ventures because, like, bro, I think it's impressive. When did you know that you had enough value to bring a company now? Other than, let's say, you being creative in music, working with artists. When did you say, you know what? I can be a businessman too. I can get into this. I can bring value to a company. Tell us about that.
I just know that music only allows you to make so much money. So there's a ceiling in the industry. You could make, you know, if you work really, really hard and you're blessed and you have longevity, you can make, you know, 80, 100 million, but you're not going to become a multi-billionaire from selling records, you know, even though we'll stream. I've got over, you know, 100 billion streams. Damn. The billion streams don't add up to if you sold a billion Happy Dads.
Facts.
Yeah, you know, I sell a billion of these, it's going to be a
different
billion
story.
Let's talk about the water. Yeah, let's talk
it's going to be a billion times whatever this costs.
Yes.
It's never, I streamed a billion times, we got to split up $5 million. Yeah. That's what streaming is. That's what we are.
Yeah.
And you got companies that, you know, they went and they appealed what, you know, Donald Trump signed, the Music Modernization Act that allows us to get more royalties for our streams. Good. And then you have streaming companies that appealed it.
Oh, because they don't want
They don't want to pay it out. They rather pay it to the label. And they're like,
this
look,
is crazy,
but
bro.
once again, you can't have a streaming platform without the songs.
They don't live.
But they're like, look, you're right. But the labels own you guys. So we're just going to pay the labels.
That's like their
the
final
billions.
answer.
Like, we're going to pay the labels the billions.
They own you guys.
And
that's
whatever.
it.
Like, hopefully they'll pay you because you're the ones. But
we
really only got to pay them because we only need their approval for your likeness.
So what happened? Trump signed a bill for
He did. And thank you. You know, he signed it. And basically it was something that we've been fighting for, you know, before it went into appeal, 7 years. Then it just got added. Then it just went into court for another 4 years and just they settled that. No, they are raising our rate. You know, no matter what the appeal was, they denied the appeal. They're raising our rate, you know, like 5 cents or something, which is it's big.
In the grand scheme of things, that's huge.
It's big. Basically, we double. Any money that comes in now will be double what we would get before, which is not bad. It's not what we're supposed to get. Yeah, but you know, before we were getting 0.0004.
Oh my God!
So that's less
than
than
a number, bro.
That's less than a tenth of a 1 cent.
Yeah.
So you gotta do
per
the
stream.
big numbers. You're saying for the
to split.
Yeah, but as you're saying, even at $1 billion, you're making like nothing compared to like what it should be.
I'll tell you what it makes. 1 million streams get you $5,000.
wow.
That's crazy.
You gotta split that with the other people that you worked on the song
That's
with.
crazy. That's crazy.
Where's the money? 1 billion streams to get you 5 million.
Yeah.
You know? How many people stream 1 billion times? Really nobody.
Yeah, not many.
So, but you know, so now 1 billion streams is gonna get you 10 million.
Yeah.
It's better.
It's better than 5.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's not what the labels are getting. The labels making 2 billion a month, guys.
Ooh. What?
Yeah.
What? Wait
So it makes sense why you're like
now
okay,
this
yeah.
year
I
and
can
this
get my
year
business
the
ready.
industry's on track to make 50 billion this year, guys. Whoa. Just in 2008, we were making 3 billion a year in 2008. So the reason why everybody's getting in catalogs and all that.
Okay, yeah.
Only half the world's connected with Wi-Fi. Damn. So only 800 million subscribers to Spotify. There's only 400 million subscribers to Apple Music. Imagine when the rest of the world gets connected with Wi-Fi.
It's game over. Yeah.
What the people who thought about that?
That's crazy.
They start buying catalogs. Wow.
And that makes sense.
Whoa,
Yeah, you're seeing
I'm about to
artists.
see a 50-time multiple on the catalog that I bought because that much more people are streaming, and we just doubled up based on this new law.
You know what's funny? You say that. I've been reading articles about like in hedge funds and investment firms
catalogs
are buying percentages of like famous catalogs.
Crazy.
Okay.
I sold one. I sold the catalog from 1996 to 2018, July 9th. I sold the catalog from when I was 16 years old to 2018. Jeez. I sold that. And then I made a whole new one. So my Ed Sheeran, all that's new, $10,000, all that's new. Changes, all that's my new catalog.
Yeah.
Intentions, all
You gonna
that's
pack it up again after in like 10 years and chop that?
10 years?
Yeah.
No.
Not even wait that long?
No.
We got a couple left.
No, I got it down to a 3-year turnaround thing now. Now I'm doing treat it like a real business.
And so when
A
you're
real
selling,
exit.
when you're selling, you're exiting.
Yeah.
Are you in those deals? And you let me know if you can say it. Are you still keeping some, or like, hey, if it does, another.
So for that deal, it was 100%.
Okay.
But at the same time, I have some pretty cool things in my deal.
Okay.
So I still will share in income.
That's what
from
I'm saying.
that catalog,
Okay,
based on
cool.
the deal that my attorney did.
Yes.
And based on the company, the catalog company being amazing.
Yeah.
That they understand, like, hey, we understand that things are changing and they're evolving in the industry. We don't want you to look up and be disgruntled or regret that you sold your catalog for X, Y, and Z, and you look up 7 years from now and it's worth 10 times that.
Yeah.
So if that happens, we're gonna make sure you have this.
Yeah, we
get
get taken care of.
You become a part of this catalog company.
Shit. Oh,
made it.
Okay.
Now,
So they're giving
okay.
you a piece.
So
Damn, the
I
respect
sold
is
it.
real. Okay, I like that. I like that.
Came back. Damn. It's a blessing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the cool part about it. I hate to. That's not something that's normal. I just worked so hard and I've sold so many records that I feel like I earned that. And as long as somebody's making X amount of dollars off their investment, then it's fair that I
it's
come
good.
back
Yeah,
in
yeah.
after you made that much profit off of it.
Yeah.
It's fair that I come because we're gonna keep the music's gonna keep. There's gonna be more and more streams. It's gonna go up. It's only gonna go up.
Yeah. And they're not stupid. They know like you're not
They
finished here.
know.
Right?
No.
Right?
That
So they're
was-
like,
but in reality, people, when you sell your catalog, that's usually the end.
They
of
think
your-
it's
well,
usually
that is
just
the end of your
yeah,
career because now I'm
Just give it up.
retiring.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I'm just gonna live off of I'm just gonna live off what I just sold you.
but you're moving different. You're like, all right.
No, I wrote a whole new catalog. I got a whole new catalog.
The guy looked at it on his
I'm about
watch. He
to
was like,
murder.
"Wait, what's
I'm
it?"
about to murder the music industry
Yeah,
now.
I love
like,
that shit, bro.
like on another level now because I'm like, bro, you think you're gonna create the category that I've been crying about for 20 years and then now
Let's talk about
and
that
then
actually.
I'm done? Okay.
They're creating the category, right?
They created the Grammys, released that they added a songwriter of the year,
Which they didn't have before.
They've never had it. They never acknowledged us. They had producer of the year, record of the year, and it's weird because it's like producer of the year. They're only getting acknowledged because the hit song. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't strip those songs down off those beats and then be like, all right, producer of the year is who's got the best kick drum and that snare. Who had the cleanest, crisp snare? Nah, bro. Nobody's humming your melody on the beat, but at the end of the day, producers created the Grammys.
Yeah. There you go.
Duh.
Yeah.
Of course we're not going to acknowledge you. We don't
Bias,
write
yeah.
songs. We're going to give all the awards to we created it. So we're going to acknowledge producers, people who tell poems, everybody but you.
Yeah.
Anybody but you. Visual arts, any and everybody but you.
That's crazy. Like,
Nothing, you can't even create a visual art without having a song. But we'll give them an actual Grammy before we give you a Grammy, Poo Bear.
Where does that come from? Why are they doing that?
like, what's the?
Producers created the Grammys.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
I can't come up with any other logical reason.
No, you're gonna know. If anyone's gonna know, it's you, bro.
Yeah, you have the people, and then you look and say, well, who has the most of the awards?
Yeah.
Those are the people who created it.
Producers, it's facts.
So now,
Quincy Jones.
yeah.
I can go into names.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that created the actual
Yeah.
award. They created the award.
Yeah,
Of course
yeah.
they will have the most of them.
Yeah. It makes sense.
If I created an award, I'm for sure had the most of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I get it. But now, like everything in life and evolution, whatever's meant to be for somebody, they're going to have it no matter what you go through to get to it.
Yes.
Whatever's meant is yours. I learned that from my friend. And, it just showed and proven now because it's like I'm in this phase of my career and they just added songwriter of the year. And I'm like, yo, what about all the other 62 years of shows where you got hit these songwriters that gave their sweat and tears and their soul, and other people sang their songs, and then the producer got the trophy, and the artist got the trophy, and the people who designed the director, people who did the artwork for your album got a trophy, bro. The ones who drew the picture on your the credits and the lining. Got a Grammy, bro. Before the actual,
that's insane.
I'm like cheese for
the irony of it. The irony of it. It's like, you know, I don't even know if it's like this with the Oscars. I know they have a best script award. They have all that. They have a writer of you have all that. So it's just like, bro, they can't even act without these words. Can't even sing without these. Like, what are you?
So you're gonna come back with vengeance, bro? You're gonna win the next 10 years,
come back with
or
vengeance,
what?
and I'm coming to take that award for the next 10 years. I'm just putting it out there, and
you heard it here first, bro.
Manifesting.
Yeah, and I really feel like I manifested the category. I want to thank Merck from Hypnosis for, there's a lot of people that once I expressed my stress, my distress, of the Grammys not acknowledging us, they went and they started being vocal about it and pushing, and I know, I've seen a bunch of stuff over the last couple of years, and a lot of people started saying like, why don't they acknowledge the writers? Like, there wouldn't even be a Grammy, there wouldn't even be an award show without the song. And why have I never heard of a hit beat before on the radio, but I've heard of hit acapella songs?
It's fucking true.
Yesterday by Boys and Men. I can go down a list of hit acapellas that were in heavy rotation on the radio. I can't name you one hit beat that was in heavy rotation.
It's true.
That the radio people aren't using as a bed to talk over.
Yeah.
They'll talk over your beat.
Yeah.
It feels good.
Yeah.
Is anybody like waking up like, oh man, I gotta hear that beat before I start my day? Man, it's just that one snare. It's just that hi-hat, bro. I can't live without it.
No, it's fine.
It's a symbol, bro. It's something with the frequency. It does something.
It's funny you say this, and I guess you're the perfect person to ask this question to, because I don't know however many years ago it was, but Drake was getting shit on. He had that whole beef with Meek Mill at that time for working with writers, right?
Yeah.
And I could, I don't know much about the industry, but I could never understand why that was maybe looked at as a bad thing.
Well, I'll tell you
why that would be negative, It
was looked upon as a bad thing because in the hip-hop community, for rappers, even though I've sat in a lot of rooms and I've written for and with a lot of rap artists, the hip-hop community, they want real hip-hop comes from you.
True.
It's an art. It's like, I'm going to draw this picture. If somebody else drew the picture and you just put the nose, or you just signed your name on it, it's gonna piss off real creators, artists that paint, and they're like, yo, he didn't paint that. He just put his name on it. There's a lot of popular painters like that, by the way. But, it's not frowned upon, and in hip hop, it's like, yo, you're supposed to write your own raps, But when you compare it, it's like, I looked at it like you, because I'm a songwriter, and I looked at it like nobody's saying, yo, you too, like Bono, you didn't write your songs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, and then I compare
thing,
Drake, like, yo, he's a superstar, and he's a pop. He raps, but he's a pop superstar. So I never looked at it like that, because I'm like, yo, we never questioned Britney Spears or all these other superstars, because it takes a team of people to make hits,
of course,
or one hitman, one songwriter, one producer, but it's not frowned upon. It's the only industry that is frowned upon in is hip hop, because they want you as a rapper for the like, if you rap some shit, they want to know that they're really relating to you.
True.
It was another reason why I told artists, like, look, you don't have to tell me that I did this. You don't have to tell the world I did this, because I don't want them to feel like they're relating to a fat black guy. Okay. They need to relate to you. They need to they need to buy your record. They need to feel like, yo, I feel just like you. Yeah. They don't need to be like, yo, I feel like a fat black guy. It's weird. True, so that's why I never really pushed yo, give me credit. It took me a while to be like, you know what? Just say we did it together. Cool. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let's just pretend like we did it together. That way the fans can be like, okay, he did something on there. You know what I'm saying? That's true. I know we feel like that, and I resonate with him. It's definitely not, I definitely don't want to be friends with a fat black guy.
So how was it then when Bieber started actually giving you that credit? Because he was kind of, you were saying off camera, like he was the first one to really be
He's the first person to say, yo, I did this record, I did these songs with Poo Bear.
And that's like 15 years into your career, pretty much.
longer than 15.
More, right?
Yeah, because that was 1997 was my first hit. That was in year 2013, 2014, 2015 was when Ryan Seacrest and Purpose. Because even with Journals, they shut that down. They didn't want anybody. We ended up selling 1 million records. We ended up selling every song on there went platinum. They didn't. They shut it. They sabotaged that album on purpose. And I got it. Yeah. He was in a dark place, and if that album would have been successful back then, it could have ended up fatal for him. Yeah. So I got it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But ultimately, so the first time he really mentioned me was Purpose, and I didn't know I had written as many songs on the album until I told Scooter, I was like, yo, I think I wrote a lot of songs on there. And he's like, nah, I don't think so. And then when I was like, can you just send me the list of the songs? And he sent me the list. I wrote everything but 2 songs. Oh my God. And at the same time, they didn't want to count my publishing company that I was with. They didn't want to count Journals as a release because I was in a deal from the year 2000 where you had to have releases of music in 1 year that counted for a song commitment. Okay. It's really impossible to do it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I did it.
Yeah,
I did it. I recouped every year. I did it, right? Yeah. But when it came to Journals, they were like, I wrote every song on Journals with the exception of 2 songs. Okay. So my publishing company was like, we don't count that. That was called Music Mondays. They put out a single every Monday. It's not an album. But then when all the DSPs, all like the streaming services, they put it on there under their album playlist. So it's like Journals, the album. So I'm like, then I was like telling my producer, I'm like, hey, asking my attorney, I'm like, can you see if they're collecting money off of Journals? And like, she's like, yeah. And I'm like, so they can make money off of Journals, but they won't count it as an album? So they should stop making money off of it. Yeah. And then when that came out, they had to acknowledge that it was an album. And then, Lord, when they acknowledged it, I was free. Like I had met my commitment. Yes. Yeah. Well, way over because I did. So when Purpose came out, I owned Purpose.
That's crazy.
Free and clear. I wasn't, and I used that to leverage to get the 25% that they took from me forever when I was a kid and I didn't know any better. And the lawyer I had was a garbage, trash, redneck racist. And he was like, you're making $180,000. You should be proud. You're only 19 years old. I don't know any 19 years old with $180,000. Then I go to another lady and she's like, you had peaches and cream anywhere. She's like, I would have given you $700,000. She's like, your first deal was supposed to be no less than $700,000. But thank God, because I was able to recoup the 180, recoup these little, they was like, nah, we're gonna give you nothing. And I was like, cool, I'll just recoup. Everybody else, the people I signed with, bro, they disappeared in like 2001. I signed it in 2000. There's writers and producers that disappeared within that year. You know what I'm saying? So for me, 15 years later to be like, after I've been sold like a slave to 5 different companies, Hitco, Windswept, Bug, Chrysalis, BMG, 5 companies that purchased me as a slave, and they would use my catalog as the commercial to sell the overall publishing catalog. Damn. So with Hitco, sold the Windswept sold the Bug sold the Chrysalis. Every deal that was done, it was based on Pooh Bear's catalog. Yeah, off your catalog. Being the main part of it, right? Bug sold to BMG. Now I'm at BMG, you don't want to count Journals. Then they had to count it. Now I'm free and clear. Now I can do a deal with any publisher. That's amazing. But this one company, BMG, owned 25% of my catalog for life. And in my mind, I'm like, I want to sell my catalog next year. So I could take a lot more millions from other people, or I could take millions and still be comfortable and put that 25% to revert back to me so that I can complete my catalog. And knowing in my heart that extra 25% is going to add 5-10 million easily. So I won't take the extra millions now from the other company and just wait a year to get, and get the reversion and add that to my catalog deal, and it was smart. You know what I'm saying? I made the right decision. Instead of I could have went off and got a huge deal. I'm like, I'll take a half of a huge deal and get my 25% back, because that 25 is going to make me 5 times the amount of money as that huge deal. I just gotta wait a year. Yeah, 1 year. What's a year at that point? You waited so long. I didn't own it forever. It was gone. It's 25%. Those were the deals. Those were the slavery deals they used to do for writers that had no knowledge. They're like, they don't know you just signed, and they're like, well, you're never gonna meet your commitments because they're not realistic.
Yeah. Wow. And here
you got to put out 8 songs a year. Oh yeah, Poo Bear, we need you to, okay, and this is your deal. We're gonna give you X amount of dollars per month. You got to put out 4 songs. And I'm like, oh, that's nothing, right? Like, no, Poo Bear, 4 songs at 100%. So if you're writing, so that means if you write a song, if you do 50%, that's 8 songs right there. If you write with somebody else or an artist like Beyonce or somebody demands their percentage and they ain't think of shit, but they just understand their star power. Now my 25 songs just turned, now my 8 just turned into 16 at 25%.
Cut you right in half. Yeah.
Then don't let anybody else have it, and I'm down to 15, 10%. I'm going to get down to 8.
Damn.
I'm at 32 songs in 1 year, and it's got to be from a major label release. It can't just be a random person like, yo, put that song out so I can get it can count.
Oh, so they make it impossible.
It's impossible.
Yeah, they make it impossible.
I did the impossible.
That's crazy, bro.
And the average writer is 2 to 3 years. Their success.
Yeah.
And then it's like on to the next person. Who's hot now?
Yeah.
Let's go on to that sound.
Use him, use her. Yeah,
they're done. That's over.
Yes.
What's next?
So you're trying to change that whole perspective of like.
Well, I just stayed ahead of it.
Yeah.
And my sound was never old.
Yeah.
Because it was new. It never existed before I was born. Yeah. So it was like, and I didn't have a tag, so you can't get tired of me.
Yeah.
You can't get tired of, imagine if every time one of my songs come out, I was like, happy birthday. Like Justin Bieber did it on a couple records, and I'm like, don't do that. I was like, I appreciate you and I know why you're doing it because you want people to know, but that can go against me because people can get tired of tags. And it could be a hit, but they're like, yo, I'm just tired of that tag.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, yo, give me another, you know what I mean? Something on the beat. You know what I mean? Something on the beat. Like, you hear it enough and it's like, yo, I'm kind of tired of that. And it could be a hit. Yeah. So for me, I've been able to be a chameleon and, you know, you not know what is my hit. You don't know. You can't be like, I'm tired of him. You can't. You don't even know I did it. And it's too late. It's a hit. Yeah. Now I'm in a whole nother part of your life again. Forever. And, you know, and so for me, it was like, all right, I love being behind the scenes. I love this because it's the longevity. As long as I stay ahead, I hear my influence. I hear when I leave the country. I hear everyone in the world. I hear Poo Bear melodies. And I had to understand that writers and producers who grow up, they had no choice but to hear my music on the radio and be surrounded in the clubs. So when they create, that's their new standard. Yeah. So when they're working, they want to make music that feels like Poo Bear music. Yeah. So now it sounds like Poo Bear. So now I'm, you know, thank God I have the ability to go in and reinvent my melodies and everything because everybody now is just like doing this to my melodies. Like, oh, we know how to sell records. We'll do Poo Bear melodies because they move your emotions.
Literally though, that's what they do.
And they do it and it works.
Yeah. Yes.
You know how much it worked? It worked so much that on this last album, I ended up doing changes, the whole album. And then they didn't let me be a part of Justice.
Wow. What?
Yeah. So, and it's cool. It's a blessing to be able to say like, yo, no other human is going to be able to be like, yo, I wrote 3 Justin Bieber albums.
Of course.
No human can say they wrote 3 Michael Jackson albums.
That's true.
Yeah,
no human can say they wrote any 3 of any human album. So I understand what I did. Yeah. So I understand what I've done and I respect and I appreciate and I'm grateful for the position. So when I knew what they were doing, when I saw it, and I was like, Justin, I feel like you're leaving me out of this project. He was like, don't think about that. And I was like, oh, they really are leaving me out. And it hurt my heart. But I had to have the yin and the yang. Yeah. I had to be grateful.
That's life.
Like, my life has changed dramatically. Thank you, Justin. Thank you for believing in me. And, you know, he told me, he was like, yo, you're going to write my songs forever. And I'm like, bruh, if forever was 3 albums, thank you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Enough. Yeah.
But just to prove my point of my melodies being so programmed that he put out he put out 6 songs. The only #1 on the Hot 100 was Peaches. And it was all Poo Bear melodies. Yeah. And thank God, because God loves me, I was able to publish Peaches. My producer produced Peaches.
That's cool.
Because God loves me.
That's wow.
So when they try to leave me out, intentionally leave me out of it, cool.
It's okay.
And it's the only #1 you had on the Hot 100 off that album. And it sound, and everybody was like, yo, congrats Poo Bear on the hit. Because it was so much me.
It was you,
They thought I wrote it. And they was like, oh, that's weird. You did Pieces of Cream that day, now you did Peaches. Yeah. It makes sense. And I'm like, I want to take credit, but I can't, guys. Yeah. Like, but Justin will be like, yo, I channeled you. Yeah. And then, you know, man, I'm proud of him. I'm proud of Justin to be,
amazing. It must feel amazing to know that you will influence music forever.
Yeah.
it hurt, and then now I'm
Seeing the
now it's it's flattering.
Yeah.
It's flattery.
Yeah.
you
At first
know?
you're like, what? Come on, bro.
Well, first I'm like, yo, it didn't come from anywhere.
Yeah.
You know how people just take stuff and
Yeah,
recycle it?
yeah.
I didn't do that.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm like, yo, why don't you just come up with your own melodies?
Facts.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
I didn't take my melodies from somewhere.
Yeah.
So it hurt me for a while because I knew how long and how much it took for me to program my original melodies.
Yeah.
So when people go and they take from it, I was like, yo, why don't you think of something else that doesn't sound like me? But then I'm like, yo, they don't even have a choice.
Yeah.
They turn on the radio, they go to the club,
Yeah.
they're in any store they're in, it's like Poo Bear melodies,
Yeah.
Poo Bear melodies. And they're like, all right, I just want to make music that sounds like this level.
Yeah.
And then I become a standard.
Yeah.
And then you
Which
you
is
listen
sick,
to the
though, like, you're
Latin
standard.
music, you listen to every genre,
still hear
and you
it.
hear Poo Bear.
yes.
I hear it in Setches, I hear it in these artists, and I hear it, and I'm like, in the clubs in Colombia, I hear it, and it would be like, make my stomach, and I'm like, I created this sound, and now everybody has it. And then, Maluma's like, Poo Bear, he's like, bruh, there's no way the world wasn't gonna like be influenced by your sound.
yeah, it's
He's like,
true.
it's absolutely impossible.
Yeah. And that's coming from him.
That's
too,
coming from
like,
Maluma, because
that's
we're in a
fucking-
club, and I'm like, it's me. He was like,
It is what it is, bro.
yeah, and I'm like, yo, it feels like Poo Bear.
Yeah.
And it's so strange, but I understand the power of melody and the power of frequency and the power of programming.
Yeah.
So, to my point, it's like, when the world hears Justin, it's my opinion. It's like, I feel like his biggest hits, it was my frequencies or my melodies.
Yeah.
And I feel like the reason why Peaches connected, because it was my melodies and my frequencies. So the world now,
They knew it
they
already.
resonate. They
Yeah.
don't even know it, but they're programmed to my melodies.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
frequency.
yeah.
So here it is. My frequency plus Justin Bieber equals a hit.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Can't
It's just
copy
math,
that, bro.
And it's
Can't copy
math.
that.
It's
bro.
math.
bro.
And it proved it. And it was an amazing
Yeah.
feeling. It was amazing. It was amazing.
You're
to be
inspiring
like,
a lot of people, bro. Straight up.
Like, yo, they left me unintentionally and it came back.
And I'm still here.
Only #1.
Yeah.
And they put out another record after that. Put out 8 records. Yeah. Bro, you know how many songs they put out on Changes? Because I wrote the whole album. You know how many songs they put out on Changes? 2. They put out Yummy.
Yeah.
So 3 million records. They put out Intentions. 5 million singles. And they were like, done. Welcome to the pop era. Pop sells more than R&B. This is what they were saying to Justin. Well, R&B is dead. I'm like, but why was the only song that went #1 R&B?
I was gonna say what?
Peaches were the only R&B song on Justice.
Yeah.
How did that go #1 on the Hot 100 without anybody? Like, you guys make that make sense out of me?
Yeah.
How's pop? First of all, pop is a gauge. Pop's not a sound. Pop is mean popular. So Shaggy, It Wasn't Me can come out as a reggae song and be listed under reggae. I mean, guess what happens when it sells 10 million records? It's a pop hit now, guys.
Genre
And
changes
guess
like
what?
that. Yeah.
No longer on the under the Jamaican genre or the reggae. Now it's on the pop.
Yeah.
So I'm like, bro, pop's a gauge. So everybody's whole mental is all like, bro, it makes no sense. It's no different than be like, yeah, the sun's rising. Yeah, like, no, it's not. Bro, we turn in and away from the sun. But we're so programmed,
Yeah.
like sun setting, like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
We're turning away from the sun. This how people lie. This how we're like, we go through lies our whole life. And this is like, it's just cool.
It's programming.
Programming.
Listen, bro, I know you gotta go.
Yeah,
I
you
know
gotta boogie.
I got
You
one.
got a
We got
question.
one last question.
Go,
all
go.
right? We're the MBH podcast. Money
Yeah.
buys happiness.
Yeah.
What do you think of the term "money buys happiness"?
I think money buys happiness. I think that just being able to provide a life, not even for yourself, but just for people that you love. I get my enjoyment, my happiness. I don't care. Like, I'm not happy flying on a jet by myself. I'm not happy. I want to go on yachts by myself. So for me, it's like to be able to show other people happiness and show them a good time, and work really hard to be able to just create joyful memories and happy moments. Can't do that without money. So absolutely money, money buys happiness. And for me, I don't think it's a selfish thing. I think that, once you understand that we're here on earth to serve and to help people, then you can understand the concept of money buying happiness. Because it's not really supposed to be like direct happiness, like, oh, I got this money, I'm happy. Yeah, there's more miserable people. There's more miserable billionaires than there are people who are poor. I was happy as shit when I was poor. We didn't know. But I'm happier now to be able to buy toys for kids and do things for my family and random people I don't know, like, here, take $100. And it changed their whole perspective on life. Yes, money buys happiness. Yeah, if I can give my doorman $100 and it gives him a whole new perspective on life. Like, yo, this human, he has no reason. He just paid me more than I make an hour holding the door open. Yes, I'm happy. I'm gonna go buy dinner for my wife tonight on Poo Bear.
Let's go.
Money just bought happiness.
Let's fucking
Happy birthday.
go.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
On that
Yo,
note,
thank you, bro. Thank you.
honestly,
Absolutely.
before we get, dude, man, first of all, your energy is amazing, man. We
Appreciate the time.
you letting us into your home. Honestly.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming to my home.
No, it's been a pleasure, bro. Wow, holy shit.
Yeah, if you're still watching, make sure you comment, subscribe. Go check out Poo Bear on IG too.
Yeah.
I mean,
we'll link you up. We'll link you up.
Drink
everywhere.
Happy Dad and then drink hydrogen water, if just in case you get drunk.
yin and yang.
Yin and yang.
Yin and yang, baby.
Positive and negative.
Cheers.
Let's go.
Happy
We
birthday,
out.
Happy
On that
Dad,
note,
H Factor.
Let's go. Thank you so much, man. We out.